How strong is Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta at the very start of the Buu Saga compared to Cell at his peak? On one hand, Perfect Cell was the ultimate bio-android and he outclassed every Z-fighter during the Cell games. And even after Goku's best efforts, it took Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's overwhelmingly new transformation to finally put him down. At his full power, Cell was tanking Kamehamehas, regrowing entire sections of his body, and trading blows with the strongest Super Saiyan the series had seen at that point. But then we move on 7 years later, and Vegeta finally achieved Super Saiyan 2. While Gohan got weaker in the time skip, Vegeta spent every moment pushing himself further, reaching a level where his Super Saiyan 2 could rival Goku's and even stand up to Majin Buu for a time. So the real question is, does Vegeta Super Saiyan 2 at the start of the Buu Saga completely surpass Cell's power from 7 years earlier? Or is Perfect Cell still competitive against the Saiyan Prince? If you enjoy conversations like this and want to take part in deeper Dragon Ball discussions, I highly encourage you to join the Dragon Ball HQ Discord server. Link below is in the description. We'll be diving into this topic and more over there. If you'd like to support the channel or even help choose the next versus battle, consider becoming a channel member today. You can join the flock for just 99 cents a month. Now, without further delay, let's begin. When we look at Vegeta's progression leading into the Buu Saga, it's one of the easier arcs to follow in terms of power growth. Unlike Gohan, who peaked early and declined, Vegeta shows steady, deliberate movements across the 7-year time skip. By the time the story resumes, he isn't just comparable with the Super Saiyan state, he's refined to the point of mastery and pushed into the second level. There's a long-standing debate on whether Vegeta had Super Saiyan 2 before Babidi empowered him, but the context makes it pretty clear that he did. Considering this, Vegeta entered the World Martial Arts Tournament without hesitation, despite knowing that Gohan used to be stronger. Pride alone can't explain it. In fact, Vegeta openly acknowledges that Gohan was stronger, but also questioned whether Gohan still held that edge after years of neglecting his training. For Vegeta to make that comparison with a straight face, he'd need to be standing on the same ring of the ladder, which points to him already possessing Super Saiyan 2. The tournament itself reinforces this also. When Gohan transformed into a Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta is unimpressed. He even remarks that Gohan looked more formidable as a boy fighting Cell. That tells us two key things. First, that Gohan's transformation no longer carries the same intensity it once did, and second, that Vegeta sees nothing in it that would rattle his own confidence. The explanation for Gohan's decline is pretty straightforward. Back in the Cell games, his defining weapon was his explosive burst of anger. In the Buu Saga, he can't summon that fury anymore, and it cripples his effectiveness. Goku himself points this out, telling Gohan that if he could harness the same emotion again, Dabra wouldn't even stand a chance. Considering the manga equates Dabra with Cell's strength, and the anime often pushes him as even more formidable, that statement is pretty huge. It implies that Gohan had the raw materials to dominate, but lacked the emotional trigger. Later, Gohan confirms it himself. He just can't reach that headspace anymore. Official material supports this interpretation as well. The Daizenshuu flat out states that Gohan's power level hasn't shifted much since childhood. The only way that makes sense is if it refers to his baseline strength without rage enhancements. His duel with Dabra fits nearly into that framing too, since the two trade blows as equal, which is right in the line with Super Perfect Cell's ballpark. Vegeta, meanwhile, has no such inconsistencies. The giveaway moment comes during Goku's battle with Yakon. When Goku searches his power, Vegeta immediately notes that Kakarot has surpassed the limits of an ordinary Super Saiyan. The language here is important. Weaker translations dilute it into something vague, but the more faithful reading directly ties to Super Saiyan 2. Combine that with Daizenshuu 7's clear statement that both Goku and Vegeta broke into the form through sheer training, and the puzzle pieces click into place. The foundation of his mastery of Super Saiyan 2 was already laid by his own hand. Unlike Gohan, whose scaling in the Buu Saga is tangled and uneven, Vegeta's growth is linear, consistent, and thoroughly backed by both the narrative and the guidebooks. From the moment Cell achieves his perfect form, the Z-Fighters find themselves completely outclassed. Every attempt to slow him down feels meaningless. Trunks, even after bulking up into his second grade 2 form, can't land a blow that matters. Krillin faces no better. His most dangerous attack, the Destructo Disc, one which forced even Frieza into evasive maneuvers, bounces off Cell's neck without so much as a scratch. Cell's retaliation is brutality and its simplicity. He moves so fast, Krillin is down before he can even react. The exchange underscores just how vast the power gap has now truly become. Vegeta's intervention drives the point home. A strike aimed at what could be a vulnerable spot has no effect, and Cell responds with a counter blow that nearly leaves the prince unconscious. Even so, Vegeta tries one last gambit, launching his most devastating technique, the Final Flash. The attack is so overwhelmingly fast, scaling to millions of times the speed of light when compared to anime depictions. The fact that Cell shifts at all is pretty remarkable. He's caught off guard, but still manages to move quick enough to avoid total annihilation, losing only a portion of his body in the process. Trunks' bulked up third grade transformation is next. Though Trunks technically wields superior raw strength in this encounter, Cell treats him like a child. His body absorbs the punches without strain, and tone suggests that he's still holding back considerably. Korn even comments that Cell is yet to show his full hand. Supplemental sources back this up, with guidebooks labeling him as the strongest being alive at the time. Later, the comparisons drawn between Cell and a fully powered up Goku reinforced this truth. Trunks was simply never close to bridging that distance. Instead of ending the fight, Cell spares Trunks, his arrogance disguised as a calculated strategy. by allowing the warriors to keep training. Cell ensures the game will be more interesting. The results are immediate. When Goku exits the hyperbolic time chamber for the final time, his strength eclipses Vegeta and Trunks even at partial output. And yet Goku openly admits that even this newfound power isn't enough. To him, Cell remains the strongest opponent he's ever faced, stronger than Gohan at that stage as well. The Cell games begin with mockery. Mr. Satan is effortlessly humiliated before Goku takes the stage. Their fight is revealing. At first glance, it looks evenly matched, but subtle cues expose the truth. Cell is dictating the pace. Anime material and some guidebooks suggest Cell is fighting at full capacity, but the manga and commentary from El Manga Legendario indicate otherwise, which is that Cell reserves his full might for Gohan alone. Regardless of interpretation, the most important detail remains. Goku is battling uphill the entire time. During the duel, Cell showcases his frightening arsenal of techniques. He demonstrates an enhanced version of the multiform technique, splitting without weakening himself, a feat that impresses even Tien, its original creator. He then raises the stakes by destroying the ring, declaring the Earth itself their battleground. Goku does manage one major strike, an instant transmission Kamehameha that vaporizes half of Cell's body. Yet Cell's regeneration, courtesy of his Namekian DNA, renders the damage meaningless. Cell's design provides more than just regeneration as well. Sources like the Dragon Book and Daizenshuu 7 confirm he possesses inexhaustible energy thanks to his android components. Any signs of fatigue are temporary illusions. His power core allows him to recover stamina endlessly, making prolonged combat effectively hopeless for his enemies. Even so, Cell doesn't just fight back with overwhelming strength. He flaunts it. After the Kamehameha, he offers Goku a sensu bean, mocking the idea that full recovery would help. Goku, realizing this is true, withdraws from the battle and names Gohan as Earth's best chance. Ironically, he gives Cell sensu bean, a move that may have provided a minor Zenkai boost due to Cell Saiyan traits. When Gohan steps up, Cell isn't impressed. He admits that the boy has potential, but scoffs at Goku's claim that Gohan already surpassed him. Gohan's hesitation and refusal to attack allow Cell to dominate. While Gohan's pacifism is often cited as the reason, the reality is simpler. If Gohan had even fought in earnest at that state, the gap was still immense. Goku's gamble was that Cell's cruelty would push Gohan beyond his limits. To provoke him, Cell spawns the Cell Jr. Multiple guidebooks state that these creatures match Cell in power, meaning that the battlefield is suddenly filled with monsters equal to the strongest warrior alive. It isn't until Gohan reaches a breaking point that the tide shifts, however. His initial burst of power in Unraged Super Saiyan 2 isn't enough. Cell mocks it as disappointing, but when Gohan finally ascends to Super Saiyan 2, the balance of power shatters. Even then, Cell has one last transformation. His self-destruction doesn't kill him as his core survives, allowing regeneration into what he calls his super perfect form. The Daizenshuu confirms that this wasn't just restoration, but a genuine leap in strength, a metamorphosis as drastic as Gohan's shift into Super Saiyan 2. Once again, the balance resets. Proof that Cell wasn't just formidable, but endlessly evolving, a true embodiment of the ultimate warrior. When Dabra sets the stage at the start of the Buu Saga, it's not hardest to notice the deliberate parallel that Akira Toriyama was setting up. Dabra isn't just some random demon king. He's meant to be the stand-in for Cell. Back in the Cell game, Super Perfect Cell was the ultimate test for Gohan, and now 7 years later, the story gives us a yardstick to measure how the cast has progressed since then. In a sense, Dabra is a living benchmark reminding us of the last world-ending threat. Guidebooks and Daizenshuu back this up directly, stating outright that Dabra is on par with Cell in terms of strength. They even go as far as to say his battle against Gohan in Super Saiyan 2 was evenly matched, which is basically the same phrasing we got years earlier about Gohan and Cell clashing after Cell's final revival. It's clear that the narrative was painting Dabra as the Cell-level opponent for this arc. But here's where things get interesting. Vegeta isn't buying it. Throughout the fight, he's unimpressed and even irritated. He calls Dabra mediocre and openly threatens to end things himself, frustrated at how far Gohan has slipped compared to his former glory. This is key, because Vegeta isn't trash-talking for no reason. The series makes it very clear that while Gohan can still reach tremendous peaks, his consistency and sharpness as a fighter have dulled. Later, Vegeta does acknowledge that Goku Super Saiyan 2 is the first time Gohan's old maximum is exceeded. That doesn't contradict anything though. In fact, it strengthens the argument. Even if Gohan still has a higher ceiling than Dabra, Vegeta's confidence suggests that Dabra himself wasn't beyond his reach. And if Dabra is indeed Cell's equal, that puts Vegeta comfortably above Super Perfect Cell by this point in the story, even if he wasn't surpassing Gohan's absolute best from 7 years ago. So even when you line it up, the outcome feels inevitable. Vegeta at this stage of the Buu Saga had advanced far beyond where the cast left off after the Cell game. Dabra might have been framed as Cell's spiritual successor, but Vegeta's evolution makes the matchup one-sided. If the two ever actually fought without interruptions, Vegeta would crush Cell decisively without breaking much of a sweat.